Hello, YouTubers. It is June 6, 2025, and yesterday I finally completed reading 20 Years After by Alexandre Dumas, or Dumas, however you say his name. It's 686 pages long, and it is the second of the however you say his name, D'Artagnan romances, which is basically the extension of the Three Musketeers. And I read several Dumas books, and I've loved them all until this one. And it's not bad, it's just not great. And everything else I've read of his was absolutely great. Now, where this one differed from the Three Musketeers book one, which is also quite long, is that is quite an adventure, a lot of activity and, moving from place to place and just exciting book. This one's almost all politics, and it involves France and some strife and people being imprisoned and escaping and things of that nature. A bad guy in England and some interconnections between those two places. And the main problem with this is that it was written not as a novel per se, but in serialized publications like in newspapers that were short. So people would read one little piece and then later another little piece and another little piece, and finally compiles into all this. So if you're not familiar, the third book, which I've already pre-purchased, is the Vicomte de Bragelonne. And this book has several different versions of it. And the version that I got is the Oxford Classics version. So depending on what version you get, there's either 3 parts to it, 4 parts to it, or one that's like a continuous 1,200 and something page book. And I don't even know if you could find that long version, but the book version that's parts 3 and parts 4 actually reorders the segments of the book. And probably the most known segment of this book is the Man in the Iron Mask, which, people have heard of the movie of that name and kind of understand the guy being locked up in the tower or whatever with a iron mask over his face. So it's got a imagery that is appealing to a reader that would interest you, but not so much this. It's all political strife and a lot of talking, which the speaking is actually maybe a plus because a lot of the pages, are more choppy. So even though it's 686 pages, because there's a lot of dialogue, the pages read fairly quickly. But it is a drone. I've read other people online mention that you don't want to read this straight through because it is long and kind of tedious at some points. It's hard to understand also because there's so many different characters and subplots. So I did read it from front to back, and at the beginning I was reading it along with the last couple of my Wizard of Oz books. And then after I finished the Wizard of Oz collections, I just went ahead and finished this, which was at least 700 pages continuous. But I did not feel about this book like I did the Three Musketeers. That was quite fun. This wasn't, but it wasn't terrible. He's a great writer no matter what. It's just, do you prefer, an action kind of oriented book or a political kind of book? And I don't like the political book as much. There are some things you can learn in there, and I will read the third book eventually. I'm kind want to read this now because I figure I'll get all 3 of these under my belt and done, and then I can go on to something else. But the tedious nature of book 2 kind of scares me a little bit, so I'm gonna have to think about it. I'm probably gonna read a murder mystery by Agatha Christie or one of those other murder writers maybe next, or perhaps the Stephen King. I'm not sure, but I don't think I can handle another 600 plus page Three Musketeer D'Artagnan romance. I would suggest that unless The Man in the Iron Mask is very, very good, that segment of book 3, it's debatable on whether a regular average person should bother with 20 years after and the other one, because they're long, not not as good as Count of Monte Cristo or anything like that. Not even close, really. Interesting, not terrible reading, just not great.